Imagine, if you will, floating gently through the vast corridors of space, where time moves like honey and starlight whispers ancient secrets across the cosmic void. Tonight, we embark on a peaceful journey through one of the most intriguing possibilities that has ever graced human imagination. The gentle theory that our beautiful blue planet exists within an invisible embrace, a cosmic sanctuary that keeps us safely nestled away from the bustling galactic community beyond. Picture yourself drifting through the soft darkness between stars, where the Milky Way spreads like spilled moonlight across an infinite canvas. Here, in this tranquil realm where meteors trace silver paths through the night and nebulae bloom like celestial flowers, we find our Earth, a perfect pearl suspended in the depths of space, perhaps more protected than we have ever dared to dream. As we settle into this exploration together, allow your breathing to match the gentle rhythm of planetary rotation, the slow dance of our world as it turns peacefully in its orbital path around the sun. Feel the soft pull of gravity that holds you safely to this remarkable sphere we call home. And let your mind wander through the possibility that this same gravitational embrace might be part of something far grander, a protective boundary that has sheltered our world for countless millennia. The evening air around you carries the essence of forests and oceans, of mountain peaks kissed by starlight and valleys where morning mist gathers like dreams made visible. In this moment, as you rest in the comfort of your earthly sanctuary, we begin to explore the tender possibility that our entire planet might exist within such a sanctuary. A cosmic greenhouse where consciousness and life have been lovingly tended since the dawn of time. Tonight, we will walk together through gardens of scientific wonder and mythological beauty, where ancient wisdom meets modern discovery, and where the familiar landscape of our world transforms into something mysteriously, beautifully different. We will visit the shores of possibility, where waves of thought lap gently against the coastlines of imagination, and where every grain of sand holds the potential for profound understanding. The stars above us tonight are the same stars that have watched over our planet for billions of years, maintaining their eternal vigil as silent guardians of our cosmic journey. Perhaps, as we drift through these contemplations like leaves floating on a peaceful stream, we will discover that isolation is not abandonment, but the deepest expression of care. A protective cocoon that has allowed our world to flourish in ways that might never have been possible in the harsh realities of unshielded space. Let us begin this gentle voyage of discovery, where science becomes poetry and speculation becomes meditation, as we explore the beautiful possibility that Earth itself is the most treasured garden in an infinite universe, carefully tended and lovingly protected by forces of wisdom and compassion that stretch beyond our current understanding. In the beginning, before human civilization had learned to paint its first images on cave walls, before the first farmer planted seeds in fertile soil, before the first poet gazed up at the night sky and felt the stirring of wonder in their heart, our solar system was already dancing its ancient choreography around a young, golden star. In those primordial days, when Earth was still learning to breathe through its developing atmosphere, when the first oceans were forming their restless embrace of the emerging continents, something remarkable may have been quietly set into motion. Picture, if you can, the Earth as it was 4.5 billion years ago. A world of swirling clouds and volcanic fires, where lightning painted temporary masterpieces across stormy skies, and where the seeds of life were taking their first tentative hold in warm, mineral-rich pools. This was a world in its infancy, vulnerable and precious, like a newborn taking its first breath in a universe that could be both nurturing and hostile. And perhaps, In the wisdom of cosmic forces beyond our understanding, protective measures were gently put in place. An invisible lattice of energy, delicate as morning dew, yet strong enough to encompass our entire planetary system. Consider the magnificent aurora that sometimes graces our polar regions. Those ethereal curtains of green and blue light that dance across the night sky like celestial spirits made visible. Scientists tell us these beautiful displays result from charged particles from the sun interacting with our magnetosphere, that invisible shield that surrounds our planet like a gossamer bubble. But what if these shimmering lights are merely the visible edge of something far more comprehensive? A protective boundary that extends well beyond our atmosphere, creating a sanctuary in the vast ocean of space where consciousness could develop without interference. The magnetosphere itself is a wonder that defies easy explanation, a phenomenon so perfectly suited to protecting life that it almost seems designed for that purpose. This invisible field, generated by the molten iron core of our planet as it churns and flows like a vast underground ocean, extends tens of thousands of miles into space, deflecting harmful solar radiation and cosmic particles that would otherwise strip away our atmosphere and sterilize our world. It operates with such elegant efficiency, bending and flexing with solar storms, channeling dangerous energy away from our surface while allowing beneficial solar radiation to reach us, that we might almost believe it was crafted specifically for the nurture and protection of developing life. The way our magnetosphere responds to solar activity resembles nothing so much as a skilled sailor adjusting sails to changing winds, constantly adapting to maintain optimal conditions while never losing its essential protective function. During periods of intense solar activity, when our star hurls massive clouds of charged particles toward us, the magnetosphere compresses and strengthens, like a cosmic umbrella opening wider in a storm. When solar conditions calm, it expands again, creating a larger zone of protection around our world. Ancient astronomers, gazing upward through crystalline night air with nothing but their naked eyes and boundless curiosity, noticed patterns in the heavens that seemed almost too perfect, too orderly to be mere coincidence. They observed how our moon maintains its eternal dance with Earth, always presenting the same gentle face to our world, creating the tidal rhythms that may have been essential for life's emergence from the seas. The moon's gravitational influence stirs our oceans twice daily, creating currents that distribute nutrients and oxygen, preventing stagnation that might otherwise have kept life confined to small, isolated pools. They marveled at the precise distance that allows our sun to warm our world without burning it, to nurture life without overwhelming it with deadly radiation. This distance, which astronomers now call the habitable zone or Goldilocks zone, is neither too hot nor too cold, but just right for liquid water to exist on our planet's surface. The stability of this orbital distance over billions of years speaks to a cosmic arrangement of extraordinary precision and longevity. These cosmic arrangements, when viewed through the lens of protective isolation, begin to take on deeper significance. The way Jupiter, that massive guardian planet, sweeps up potentially dangerous asteroids and comets with its gravitational embrace, acting like a cosmic vacuum cleaner that keeps the inner solar system relatively safe from catastrophic impacts. Jupiter's immense gravity well captures or deflects objects that might otherwise hurtle toward Earth, and its orbital resonances with other planets help maintain the stable configuration that has persisted for billions of years. The way our solar system's position in the galaxy places us in a relatively quiet region, away from the violent stellar nurseries and dangerous radiation sources that populate other areas of the Milky Way. We orbit our galaxy in what astronomers call the galactic habitable zone, far enough from the chaotic galactic center to avoid its intense radiation and gravitational disruptions, yet not so far out in the sparse galactic halo that heavy elements necessary for rocky planet formation would be unavailable. In the deep forests of our world, where ancient trees have stood sentinel for centuries, we find similar patterns of protection and nurture that mirror what we observe on cosmic scales. The forest canopy creates a microclimate below, moderating temperature and humidity, filtering harsh sunlight, and creating conditions where countless species can flourish in intricate harmony. The largest trees act as guardians for the smaller plants growing in their shade, sharing nutrients through underground networks of fungal connections, warning each other of threats through chemical signals carried on the wind. Perhaps our entire solar system exists within such a cosmic canopy, lovingly maintained by intelligences whose perspective on time spans geological ages rather than human lifetimes. These theoretical protective intelligences would operate on timescales that make our recorded history seem like a single day in their experience, patiently tending the conditions necessary for consciousness to emerge and develop over billions of years of careful cultivation. The Aboriginal peoples of Australia, in their Dreamtime stories shared around flickering fires under the endless southern sky, speak of invisible boundaries that separate their world from the chaos of the outer darkness. Their oral traditions, passed down through 60,000 years of continuous cultural transmission like gentle lullabies sung from generation to generation, describe a time when sky beings established protective barriers around Earth, ensuring that life could develop in peace and safety, undisturbed by the cosmic storms that rage in less protected regions of the universe. These ancient stories find curious echoes in the observations of modern astronomy. Radio telescopes, those patient listeners to the cosmic symphony, have detected curious patterns in the signals that reach us from deep space. Certain frequencies seem to be filtered or dampened as they approach our solar system, creating gaps in the electromagnetic spectrum that conventional science explains through natural interference. The interstellar medium, that thin soup of gas and dust that fills the space between stars, does indeed absorb and scatter certain wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation, yet some researchers wonder whether these patterns might indicate something more comprehensive. A filtering system that moderates what energies and influences are allowed to reach our developing world. The heliosphere, that vast bubble of solar wind that surrounds our entire solar system, creates what might be seen as the first layer of cosmic protection. This region, where the solar wind meets and pushes back against the interstellar medium, forms a natural boundary that moderates the galactic environment around us. The Voyager spacecraft, humanity's first ambassadors to cross this boundary, have sent back data showing that this transition zone is far more complex and structured than previously imagined, with multiple layers and regions that seem to filter different types of cosmic radiation with remarkable precision. Journey with me now through the corridors of deep time, to an epoch when our ancestors first looked up at the star-scattered sky and began to wonder about their place in the grand cosmic design. In the fertile valleys of ancient Mesopotamia, where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers carved gentle pathways through rich earth, early scholars noticed that certain celestial visitors, comets and asteroids, seemed to change their courses in the most remarkable ways as they approached our region of space. These wandering lights, trailing their gossamer tails across the heavens like cosmic calligraphy written against the black scroll of night, would appear to be heading directly toward our Earth or neighboring planets, only to mysteriously alter their paths at the last moment. Traditional science explains these deflections through gravitational influences and the complex orbital mechanics of our solar system, the intricate dance of gravitational fields that extends throughout our cosmic neighborhood. Yet there remains something almost purposeful about these course corrections, something that suggests a more deliberate process at work, as if an unseen hand were gently guiding these potential threats away from our vulnerable world. The Great Comet of 1744, visible for months as it swept through the inner solar system, followed a trajectory that brought it uncomfortably close to Earth's orbit, before veering away in a graceful arc that carried it safely back to the outer reaches of space. Ancient Chinese astronomers recorded similar observations throughout their meticulous celestial chronicles, noting how dangerous-looking celestial visitors would approach their maximum threat distance before retreating, as if turned back by invisible barriers. In the drowsy warmth of Egyptian temples, where incense drifted through stone corridors like prayers made visible, and priests moved in slow procession beneath star charts painted on azure ceilings, the keepers of ancient wisdom recorded their observations of the night sky with meticulous care. They spoke of protective deities who watched over the world, maintaining cosmic order through forces beyond human comprehension. Their hieroglyphic records, painted on walls that would endure for millennia, describe celestial guardians who deflected harmful influences and maintained the delicate balance necessary for life to flourish along the green banks of the Nile. Perhaps their mythological language was simply their way of describing phenomena they could observe but not yet fully understand. When they wrote of the god Horus spreading his protective wings over the earth, or of Nut, the sky goddess, arching her star-spangled body over the world to shield it from the chaos of the void, they may have been attempting to express, in metaphorical terms, their intuitive understanding of cosmic protection systems that our modern instruments are only beginning to detect. The Egyptian concept of Ma'at, the cosmic principle of balance and order, described reality as a delicate equilibrium maintained through constant vigilance against the forces of chaos. The daily journey of Ra, the sun god, through the underworld each night represented not just the cycle of day and night, but the ongoing struggle to maintain cosmic order against entropy and dissolution. This mythological framework might reflect an ancient understanding of how protective systems operate on cosmic scales, requiring constant maintenance and renewal to preserve the conditions necessary for life and consciousness. The ancient Greek philosophers, walking through olive groves under Mediterranean skies, where the scent of wild herbs mingled with salt breezes from the wine-dark sea, developed theories about celestial spheres that surrounded and protected the earth. Aristotle's concept of crystalline spheres that carried the planets and stars in their eternal orbits may have been more than mere mathematical convenience. It might have reflected a deeper intuitive understanding of how protective boundaries operate in the cosmic realm. Plato's allegory of the cave, with its imagery of prisoners chained in darkness while reality exists in the bright world outside, might be interpreted as a metaphor for our protected isolation from the broader cosmic community, the shadows on the cave wall representing our limited perception of galactic reality, while the true forms exist in the sunlit world beyond our current understanding. The philosopher who escapes the cave and returns to describe what he has seen might represent those individuals who have glimpsed the larger cosmic context within which our protected world exists. Celtic Druids. Gathering in sacred groves where oak trees whispered secrets to the wind and standing stones marked the intersection of earth and sky, spoke of thin places between worlds that were carefully guarded by beings of wisdom and power. Their traditions describe our world as existing within multiple layers of protection, each maintained by different orders of cosmic intelligence. These stories, shared in the soft glow of ceremonial fires while mist rose from ancient stone circles, speak to a deep human intuition about the nature of cosmic protection that transcends cultural boundaries. The Celtic concept of the otherworld, that realm of eternal youth and beauty that exists parallel to our ordinary reality, was described as being separated from our world by boundaries that could be crossed only at certain times and places, and only by those who had been properly prepared for the experience. These crossing points were said to be guarded by entities who ensured that traffic between worlds proceeded according to cosmic law, preventing harmful influences from entering our realm while allowing beneficial exchanges when appropriate. Native American traditions from across the continent tell remarkably similar stories. Despite developing in complete isolation from Old World cultures, the Hopi speak of our world as existing within a protective bubble maintained by the Creator's breath, with the rainbow serving as a visible sign of the covenant that keeps our world safe from cosmic chaos. The Lakota describe how the sacred hoop of life is maintained by spiritual forces that keep harmful influences at bay, while ensuring that all beings within the hoop can flourish according to their nature. Pacific Northwest tribes tell of sky beings who wove invisible nets of light around the earth, creating a protective web that captures dangerous influences while allowing beneficial energies to filter through. These nets are said to be maintained through ceremony and proper relationship with the natural world, requiring human participation in the cosmic protection system. The salmon runs, the seasonal migrations of animals, the growth cycles of plants, all are described as participating in the maintenance of this protective web. The Amazonian peoples speak of the world as existing within a cosmic maloka, a great spiritual house whose walls are maintained by the plant teachers and animal spirits. The shamans who work with ayahuasca and other teacher plants describe traveling to the edges of this protected space during their visionary journeys, where they can perceive the ongoing maintenance work that keeps our reality stable and safe for human consciousness to develop. These indigenous wisdom traditions, preserved through oral transmission for thousands of years, consistently describe Earth as a specially protected realm within a larger cosmic community. The remarkable consistency of these themes across cultures that had no contact with each other suggests that they might be reflecting observed reality rather than mere wishful thinking or primitive superstition. The metaphorical language used to describe these protection systems might be the most accurate way to convey information about cosmic realities that transcend ordinary physical perception. Modern science, with its sophisticated instruments and patient observations, has begun to uncover layers of complexity in our cosmic neighborhood that earlier generations could only dream about. Our magnetosphere, that invisible guardian that deflects harmful solar radiation, operates on principles that seem almost miraculous in their elegant efficiency. Like a soap bubble that maintains its perfect spherical boundary while allowing gentle exchanges of energy through its permeable surface, the magnetosphere creates a stable, long-lasting barrier that has protected our world for billions of years. The Van Allen radiation belts, those donut-shaped regions of charged particles that circle our Earth like protective jewelry, demonstrate how electromagnetic forces can create natural containment fields in space. These belts, discovered only in 1958 during the early space age, form a secondary defense system that absorbs and deflects many of the high-energy cosmic rays that would otherwise penetrate our atmosphere and potentially damage the delicate chemistry of life. The discovery that these radiation belts have multiple layers, each capturing different types of particles with different energy levels, reveals a protection system of extraordinary sophistication. Recent discoveries in space physics have revealed that our solar system's boundary with interstellar space is far more complex and structured than previously imagined. The heliosphere, the bubble of solar wind that surrounds our entire solar system, creates a natural barrier against many forms of cosmic radiation. This boundary region, called the heliopause, operates like a sophisticated membrane, allowing some influences to pass through while blocking others. The precise mechanisms by which this selectivity operates are still being studied, but the effect is clear. Our solar system exists within a naturally occurring protective zone. The Voyager spacecraft, humanity's first emissaries to cross this boundary, have sent back data suggesting that this transition zone operates with remarkable precision and complexity. The boundary is not a simple wall, but a dynamic region with multiple layers and zones, each responding differently to various types of cosmic radiation and interstellar matter. The way this boundary maintains its shape and function despite constant buffeting by galactic winds and radiation suggests a level of stability and organization that goes beyond simple physical processes. Radio astronomy has revealed curious gaps and dampening effects in certain types of signals from deep space. While conventional explanations focus on natural interference from cosmic dust and plasma, some researchers have noted that these filtering effects seem to operate with remarkable consistency and precision. Certain frequencies are attenuated more than others, creating patterns in the cosmic radio spectrum that could be interpreted as evidence of selective filtering mechanisms operating around our solar system. The cosmic microwave background radiation, that ancient echo of the universe's birth, shows subtle variations when observed from Earth that could be interpreted as evidence of large-scale structures in space-time itself, perhaps the very framework that maintains our planetary sanctuary. These minute temperature fluctuations, mapped with exquisite precision by space-based telescopes, reveal patterns that might indicate the presence of cosmic infrastructure designed to maintain optimal conditions for developing worlds. Gravitational wave detectors, those exquisitely sensitive instruments that can detect ripples in the fabric of space-time itself, have recorded patterns that suggest our local region of space may exist within a gravitational anomaly, a bubble of slightly different space-time curvature that could theoretically serve as a natural barrier or filter for various cosmic phenomena. While these observations are still being studied and debated, they hint at the possibility that our solar system might indeed exist within a naturally occurring or artificially maintained protective zone. The study of exoplanets, worlds orbiting other stars, has revealed just how rare and precious our Earth's conditions truly are. Of the thousands of planets discovered so far, very few exist in the narrow habitable zone where liquid water can exist on the surface. Even fewer have the complex combination of factors: atmospheric composition, magnetic field, large moon for tidal stability, protective gas giant planets to clear orbital debris, that seem necessary for complex life to develop and thrive. This rarity suggests that planets like Earth might naturally be precious and protected commodities in the cosmic economy. If advanced civilizations exist elsewhere in the galaxy, they would presumably recognize the incredible value of worlds where consciousness and complex life can evolve. The protection of such worlds might be seen as a cosmic imperative, leading to the establishment of natural or artificial quarantine zones around developing planetary systems. The Drake equation, formulated by astronomer Frank Drake to estimate the probability of extraterrestrial intelligence, includes factors for the rate of star formation, the fraction of stars with planets, and the likelihood of life developing. But perhaps it needs additional factors to account for cosmic protection protocols. The possibility that advanced civilizations naturally develop protective care for worlds where consciousness is emerging, leading to apparent isolation that serves a developmental purpose. The Fermi paradox, which asks why we haven't detected obvious signs of extraterrestrial intelligence despite the vastness of the galaxy, might be resolved if we consider that such civilizations might deliberately maintain boundaries around developing worlds. The silence we encounter when we listen to the stars might not indicate the absence of intelligence, but rather the effectiveness of protection protocols designed to prevent premature contact that could disrupt natural development. Nature herself provides countless examples of how protective isolation can serve the cause of flourishing life. In the deepest parts of our oceans, hydrothermal vents create isolated pockets of warmth and unique chemistry where extraordinary ecosystems thrive, completely separated from the harsh conditions of the surrounding deep sea. These underwater oases, discovered only in recent decades, host creatures so unusual they seem almost alien. Tube worms that derive energy from chemical processes rather than sunlight. bacteria that thrive in temperatures that would instantly kill most other life forms, entire food webs based on chemosynthesis rather than photosynthesis. The isolation of these deep-sea communities has allowed them to evolve in directions that would be impossible in more connected environments. The unique chemistry of hydrothermal vents, with their mineral-rich water and abundant energy sources, creates conditions where life can explore possibilities that don't exist anywhere else on Earth. The physical barriers that separate these communities from the rest of the ocean, the crushing depths, the toxic chemistry, the absence of sunlight, serve not as limitations, but as protective boundaries that preserve unique evolutionary experiments. Mountain meadows, nestled high above the world's bustle, develop their own microenvironments where rare alpine flowers bloom in solitude, protected by natural barriers of stone and elevation from the harsher conditions of lower altitudes. These botanical sanctuaries demonstrate how physical isolation can foster diversity and beauty rather than stagnation. The unique conditions created by altitude and isolation, intense solar radiation, thin atmosphere, extreme temperature variations, short growing seasons, have led to the evolution of plant communities found nowhere else on Earth. The cushion plants that grow in alpine environments, forming tight mats that can survive hurricane-force winds and temperature swings of 100 degrees, represent adaptations that were only possible in isolation from the competitive pressures of lower altitude ecosystems. The brilliant colors of alpine flowers, evolved to attract pollinators in the brief growing season, create displays of beauty that rival any human artwork. These isolated communities show how boundaries can become catalysts for remarkable creativity and adaptation. Island archipelagos scattered across peaceful seas become natural laboratories of evolution, where life takes unique forms precisely because of their separation from mainland influences. The Galapagos Islands, where Charles Darwin first glimpsed the mechanisms of natural selection, show us how isolation can become the driving force behind remarkable diversity. Each island in the archipelago, separated from its neighbors by just a few miles of ocean, has developed its own unique subspecies of finches, tortoises, and iguanas. Madagascar, separated from the African continent by the Mozambique Channel over 100 million years ago, evolved an entire ecosystem found nowhere else on Earth. More than 90% of Madagascar's plant and animal species exist nowhere else. From the iconic lemurs to the bizarre baobab trees, with their upside-down appearance. This island continent demonstrates how long-term isolation can lead to evolutionary creativity on a massive scale. The Hawaiian Islands, formed by volcanic activity in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, were originally devoid of life except for what could fly or swim to reach them. Yet over millions of years, these isolated volcanic peaks became home to unique ecosystems, with native species that evolved from the few colonizing ancestors that managed to make the journey across thousands of miles of open ocean. The Hawaiian honeycreeper birds, all descended from a single finch ancestor, evolved into dozens of species with beaks specialized for different food sources, some for nectar, others for insects, still others for seeds and fruit. These island worlds demonstrate that boundaries can be gateways to wonder, rather than walls of confinement. The isolation that initially seems limiting becomes the very condition that allows creativity and diversity to flourish. Perhaps our Earth functions as a cosmic island, surrounded not by water, but by carefully maintained energetic barriers that allow our biosphere to develop its remarkable complexity without interference from the turbulent forces that shape less protected worlds. Coral reefs, those underwater cities that exist in the narrow band of tropical seas where conditions are just right for their development, create their own protective boundaries within the ocean environment. The reef structure itself provides shelter for countless species, while the larger ocean currents and temperature zones create natural barriers that help maintain the delicate balance necessary for reef ecosystems to flourish. These marine sanctuaries show how life can create its own protective boundaries when conditions are favorable. The Great Barrier Reef, stretching for over 1,400 miles along the coast of Australia, represents one of Earth's most complex and beautiful expressions of protective community. The coral polyps that build the reef structure exist in symbiotic relationship with algae that provide them with energy through photosynthesis. This partnership, refined over millions of years of evolution, creates the foundation for communities that support more biodiversity per square mile than almost any other ecosystem on Earth. The reef creates its own microclimate, moderating temperature and wave action, creating calm lagoons where juvenile fish can grow to maturity protected from the predators of the open ocean. The complex three-dimensional structure of the reef provides countless niches where different species can specialize and thrive without competing directly with each other. The isolation of different reef sections allows each to develop its own unique community composition, while remaining connected through ocean currents that carry nutrients and larvae between reefs. In this view, our apparent cosmic loneliness becomes not a cause for concern, but a blessing, a sign that we exist within a specially designed nursery for consciousness and life. The isolation we experience now might be the necessary prelude to eventual contact and communication with the broader galactic community. Just as the isolation of island ecosystems is necessary for the development of unique species that can eventually contribute to global biodiversity, the concept of protective boundaries extends even into the realm of quantum physics, where particles exist in probability states until observation collapses them into specific realities. Some theoretical physicists have speculated that consciousness itself might operate as a kind of quantum boundary condition, creating stable pockets of organized reality within the chaos of quantum fluctuation. If this is true, then consciousness-bearing worlds like Earth might naturally exist within quantum protective zones that help maintain the stable conditions necessary for complex thought and awareness to develop. The quantum field theories that describe the fundamental forces of nature suggest that reality at its deepest level consists of interconnected fields of energy and information. These fields might naturally organize themselves into protective structures around regions where consciousness has emerged, creating what could be thought of as quantum sanctuaries, where the delicate processes of awareness can unfold without interference from quantum chaos. The anthropic principle in cosmology observes that the fundamental constants of nature seem to be fine-tuned for the existence of complexity and consciousness. The strength of gravity, the electromagnetic force, the nuclear forces, and other basic parameters fall within an extremely narrow range that allows atoms to form, stars to shine stably, planets to exist, and chemistry complex enough for life to develop. Some interpretations of this fine-tuning suggest that our universe might be specially configured for the development of consciousness, with protective mechanisms built into the very fabric of reality. Throughout human history, cultures separated by vast distances and millennia have independently developed stories about protective boundaries around their world. These mythological traditions, emerging from the collective unconscious of humanity, speak to deep intuitions about our cosmic situation that transcend cultural boundaries and historical periods. The consistency of these themes across cultures suggests that they might be reflecting observed reality rather than mere wishful thinking. The Norse mythology speaks of Midgard, the middle realm of human habitation, protected by invisible walls from the chaos of the outer worlds. Asgard, the realm of the gods, was described as being connected to Midgard by the Rainbow Bridge Bifrost, which served both as a pathway and as a protective barrier that could be controlled by the guardian Heimdall. The great ash tree Yggdrasil served as both connector and barrier between different levels of reality, ensuring that only appropriate exchanges could occur between the realm of humans and the realms of gods and giants. The Norse concept of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, might be interpreted not as an ending, but as a graduation. The time when the protective boundaries around Midgard would be dissolved, and humanity would take its place as conscious participants in the broader cosmic community. The survivors of Ragnarok were said to inherit a renewed world where gods and humans could interact directly, suggesting a developmental model where isolation serves as preparation for eventual integration. Hindu cosmology describes reality as consisting of multiple layers, each nested within protective barriers maintained by cosmic forces. The concept of the cosmic egg, or Brahmanda, describes the universe as existing within a protective shell that maintains the order necessary for consciousness to evolve and develop. The various lokas, or planes of existence, are described as being separated by natural boundaries that protect less developed beings from influences they are not yet ready to handle. The Hindu concept of the yugas, or cosmic ages, describes reality as moving through cycles of spiritual development, with each age requiring different levels of cosmic protection. During Kali Yuga, the current age of spiritual darkness, the protective boundaries are said to be strongest, shielding humanity from cosmic influences that would overwhelm undeveloped consciousness. As humanity evolves toward higher stages of spiritual development, these boundaries gradually become more permeable, allowing greater interaction with cosmic intelligence. Buddhist traditions speak of the wheel of Dharma being protected by enlightened beings who ensure that the conditions necessary for spiritual development are maintained across cosmic time. The concept of Buddha fields describes specially protected regions of space-time where the conditions for awakening are optimized and preserved. These pure lands exist as refuges where consciousness can develop without the interference of negative influences that might impede spiritual growth. The Buddhist understanding of compassion extends to cosmic scales, with advanced beings naturally developing care for less developed consciousnesses. The Bodhisattva vow to postpone one's own final liberation until all beings can be helped might be reflected in cosmic protection protocols that ensure developing worlds are given the time and space they need for spiritual evolution. In the gentle twilight of Celtic imagination, the thin places between worlds were carefully guarded by beings of wisdom and power, ensuring that only beneficial exchanges could occur between different levels of existence. The Celtic concept of the otherworld describes a realm that exists parallel to our own, separated by boundaries that are usually invisible, but sometimes become permeable at certain times and places under proper conditions. These stories, told around warm hearths while winds whispered through ancient oak groves and mist rose from sacred wells, speak to a deep human intuition about the careful maintenance of cosmic order. The Celtic understanding of time as cyclical rather than linear suggests that periods of isolation alternate with periods of contact, each serving different developmental purposes in the grand cycle of cosmic evolution. The Australian Aboriginal concept of the rainbow serpent describes a vast cosmic entity that encircles the world, maintaining the boundaries between the physical realm and the dream time. This protective presence ensures that the delicate balance of life continues undisturbed, while also providing a bridge between ordinary consciousness and the deeper patterns of meaning that underlie physical reality. The songlines that crisscross the Australian continent are described as maintenance pathways for this cosmic protection system, kept active through ceremony and traditional knowledge. The Aboriginal understanding of country as a living entity that requires constant attention and care might reflect awareness of how cosmic protection systems operate. The ceremonies that maintain the songlines, the stories that preserve knowledge of sacred sites, the careful attention to seasonal cycles and ecological relationships, all might be ways of participating in the cosmic maintenance of planetary harmony. African traditions from across the continent speak of ancestral spirits who maintain protective barriers around human communities, ensuring that harmful influences from the spirit world cannot interfere with the development of the living. The concept of the village as a sacred space, protected by ritual boundaries and ancestral guardianship, reflects a deep understanding of how protective isolation can serve the cause of cultural and spiritual development. The African understanding of Ubuntu, the recognition that individual well-being is inseparable from community well-being, might extend to cosmic scales, where the protection of individual worlds serves the well-being of the galactic community as a whole. The isolation we experience might be an expression of cosmic Ubuntu, ensuring that our development proceeds in harmony with larger patterns of galactic evolution. Amazonian shamanic traditions describe our world as existing within a cosmic maloka, or sacred house, whose boundaries are maintained by plant teachers and spirit allies. The Ayahuasqueros speak of traveling to the edges of this protected space during their visionary journeys, where they can perceive the careful maintenance work that keeps our reality stable and safe for human consciousness to develop. The plant teachers, ayahuasca, San Pedro, tobacco, and others, are described as cosmic intelligences that help maintain the boundaries between different levels of reality. Their role as teachers might extend beyond individual healing and vision to participation in the cosmic maintenance of planetary protection systems. The ceremonies that work with these plants might be ways of checking on and supporting the protective boundaries that surround our world. Even in our modern era, science fiction has repeatedly returned to themes of protected Earth. From Arthur C. Clarke's concept of Earth as a cosmic preserve to Douglas Adams's suggestion that our planet might be a carefully maintained experiment, contemporary imagination continues to explore the possibility that our world's apparent isolation serves a protective purpose. These fictional explorations often include themes of graduated contact, where developing civilizations are slowly introduced to galactic community, only when they have reached sufficient maturity to handle the experience constructively. The consistency of these themes in modern imagination suggests that the human intuition about cosmic protection continues to operate even in our technological age. The popularity of stories about alien contact being carefully managed, about Earth existing within protective boundaries, about humanity being prepared for eventual graduation to galactic citizenship, all might reflect collective, unconscious awareness of our actual cosmic situation. The scientific search for extraterrestrial intelligence, which has so far yielded only silence, might be revealing not the absence of other conscious beings, but the wisdom of the protective system that surrounds us. If we are indeed in a cosmic preserve, then the silence we encounter when we listen to the stars might be the sound of boundaries being respectfully maintained rather than evidence that we are alone in the universe. The SETI project, with its patient listening for artificial signals from space, might need to consider the possibility that such signals are being filtered or blocked by the same protective systems that maintain our isolation. The absence of obvious alien communications might indicate not the absence of alien intelligence, but the presence of sophisticated protocols designed to prevent premature contact that could disrupt our natural development. Modern research into consciousness and quantum mechanics has opened new avenues for understanding how protective boundaries might operate at the deepest levels of reality. The observer effect in quantum physics demonstrates that consciousness plays a fundamental role in determining physical reality. Some researchers have theorized that large-scale consciousness effects, operating through quantum field interactions, might create natural stability zones around planets where complex life has developed. The quantum field theories that describe electromagnetic and gravitational forces suggest that consciousness might operate as a kind of organizing principle that creates coherent patterns in quantum field activity. If consciousness naturally generates protective field effects, then worlds where consciousness has emerged might automatically develop defensive boundaries that help maintain optimal conditions for continued development. The Gaia hypothesis, proposed by James Lovelock, suggests that Earth's biosphere operates as a self-regulating system that maintains conditions suitable for life. This biological regulation creates a form of planetary homeostasis that has kept our world within narrow temperature and atmospheric composition ranges for billions of years, despite dramatic changes in solar output and cosmic conditions. If this self-regulation extends beyond purely biological processes, it might explain how our planet maintains its protected status within the broader cosmic environment. The Gaia principle might operate on multiple scales simultaneously. Just as individual organisms maintain homeostasis through complex feedback systems, and ecosystems maintain stability through intricate webs of relationship. Planetary systems might maintain protective boundaries through similar self-regulating mechanisms. These boundaries might be maintained through the coordinated activity of all life on Earth, with human consciousness playing an increasingly important role as we become more aware of our participation in planetary systems. Recent discoveries in astrobiology have revealed that life can exist in far more extreme conditions than previously imagined. Organisms have been found thriving in environments of intense radiation, extreme temperature, crushing pressure, and total darkness. This resilience suggests that life, once established, tends to create and maintain its own protective environments. On a planetary scale, this tendency might manifest as the development of natural boundary systems that preserve conditions favorable for continued biological and cultural evolution. The extremophile organisms that live in the most challenging environments on Earth might be providing clues about how protective systems operate on cosmic scales. The way these organisms create chemical buffers, modify their local environment, and coordinate their activities to maintain optimal conditions might reflect principles that operate in planetary protection systems. The bacterial communities that live around hydrothermal vents, for example, create complex chemical gardens that maintain stable conditions despite the chaotic chemistry of their environment. As we float through these contemplations like leaves drifting on a gentle stream, we might wonder what it means to exist within such a protective embrace. Does isolation diminish us? Or does it provide the necessary conditions for growth and self-discovery? The question touches on some of the deepest mysteries of existence and consciousness, inviting us to reconsider our relationship with both our planetary home and the vast universe beyond. Consider the monastery garden, where walls create not a prison, but a paradise, a space where contemplation can flourish away from the world's distractions. Within these protected boundaries, monks and nuns have for centuries cultivated not only herbs and vegetables, but also wisdom and compassion. The physical walls that separate the monastery from the outside world serve to create conditions where spiritual development can proceed without constant interference from worldly concerns. The monastery garden represents a microcosm of protected development, where the boundaries that might seem limiting to outsiders are experienced as liberating by those within. The walls that keep the world out also keep a sacred space in, creating conditions where deeper truths can be discovered and developed. The daily rhythm of prayer, work, study, and contemplation creates a temporal boundary that protects spiritual development from the chaotic pace of ordinary life. Perhaps our entire planet serves as such a cosmic monastery, where consciousness can evolve and develop without the overwhelming influences that might exist in a more connected galactic community. The protective boundaries that may surround our world would then serve not to imprison us, but to create optimal conditions for the flowering of awareness and understanding. In this view, our current isolation becomes a gift rather than a burden, a period of protected development during which we can grow into our full potential as conscious beings. The philosopher Lao Tzu spoke eloquently of the value of emptiness and space. He observed that it is the hollow space within a bowl that makes it useful for holding water, the empty space within a room that allows it to be inhabited by people, the gap between the spokes of a wheel that allows it to turn and transport loads. In this light, our cosmic solitude becomes not an absence, but a presence. The presence of potential, of space for growth and wonder, of room for consciousness to expand and explore its own nature without interference. If we are indeed within a gentle quarantine, it speaks to the profound care with which the universe nurtures developing life and consciousness. Like a greenhouse that protects tender seedlings from harsh weather while they grow strong enough to eventually thrive in the wider world, our protected Earth may be preparing us for a future we can barely imagine. The isolation we experience now might be the necessary prelude to eventual contact and communication with the broader galactic community. This perspective transforms our current challenges and limitations into opportunities for growth and development. The environmental crises we face become not signs of impending doom, but tests of our ability to develop the wisdom necessary for planetary stewardship. Our social and political conflicts become not evidence of humanity's fundamental flaws, but growing pains as we learn to function as a unified planetary consciousness capable of taking responsibility for our world's well-being. The loneliness that sometimes accompanies our cosmic isolation becomes reframed as spaciousness. Room for us to develop our own unique perspective and contribution to the cosmic conversation. Just as children need time to develop their own personalities and capabilities before they can participate meaningfully in adult society, perhaps our species needs this period of protected development before we can join whatever community of conscious beings exists in the broader galaxy. The search for extraterrestrial intelligence, which has so far yielded only silence, might be revealing not the absence of other conscious beings, but the wisdom of the protective system that surrounds us. If we are indeed in a cosmic preserve, then the silence we encounter when we listen to the stars might be the sound of boundaries being respectfully maintained rather than evidence that we are alone in the universe. This reframing of our cosmic situation invites us to take responsibility for our role as caretakers of consciousness on Earth. If our world is indeed a specially protected realm, where awareness and intelligence can develop, then we bear the responsibility of proving worthy of that protection. Our treatment of each other, of the other species that share our world, and of the planet itself becomes not merely a matter of survival, but a demonstration of our readiness for whatever larger role we may be destined to play in the cosmic community. The indigenous wisdom traditions that speak of Earth as a sacred, protected realm often emphasize the importance of human beings serving as conscious partners in the maintenance of planetary harmony. In this view, we are not merely passive beneficiaries of cosmic protection, but active participants in the system that maintains Earth's special status. Our consciousness, our creativity, our capacity for love and wisdom become contributions to the cosmic ecology that justifies and maintains our protected status. The environmental movement, from this perspective, becomes not just about preserving natural resources for human use, but about fulfilling our cosmic responsibility as conscious caretakers of a precious planetary experiment. Every act of conservation, every effort to protect endangered species, every step toward sustainable living becomes a way of honoring the protective care that has been lavished on our world for billions of years. The development of human culture and technology, viewed through this lens, becomes a process of conscious evolution toward greater harmony with cosmic principles. Our art, our music, our literature, our scientific discoveries all become offerings to the universe, evidence that consciousness can indeed flourish when given appropriate protection and nurture. The beauty we create and the knowledge we discover become justification for the special care that has been taken to ensure our world's continued existence. The spiritual traditions that have developed on Earth can be seen as humanity's attempts to understand and align with the cosmic forces that maintain our protected status. Prayer, meditation, ceremony, and ritual become not just personal practices, but ways of participating in the cosmic maintenance of planetary harmony. The mystics and saints who have achieved profound states of consciousness become living proof that the experiment of consciousness on Earth is succeeding. The questions about whether we are alone in the universe take on new meaning when viewed from this perspective. Rather than searching for evidence of other intelligent life to relieve our cosmic loneliness, we might consider the possibility that our apparent isolation is itself evidence of the care and attention being paid to our development by intelligences far wiser than ourselves. The silence of the cosmos might be the sound of protective boundaries being maintained with exquisite precision and loving care. The Drake equation, which attempts to estimate the probability of extraterrestrial intelligence, might need to include factors related to cosmic protection and quarantine protocols. If advanced civilizations naturally develop protective care for developing worlds, then the apparent scarcity of detectable alien intelligence might reflect not the rarity of conscious life, but the effectiveness of systems designed to protect it during its vulnerable developmental phases. This perspective also transforms our understanding of time and patience. If our protective isolation is temporary, a developmental phase rather than a permanent condition, then we might consider what criteria would need to be met before the boundaries around our world might be gradually relaxed or modified. What level of technological wisdom, social harmony, environmental stewardship, and spiritual development might be necessary before we could safely participate in broader galactic community. The search for these criteria becomes a spiritual and philosophical quest of the highest order. It invites us to consider not just what we want to achieve as a species, but what we need to become in order to be worthy of the trust and protection that may have been placed in us. This transforms human development from a purely self-interested endeavor into a cosmic responsibility, a chance to prove that consciousness can indeed flourish and contribute to the greater good of the universe. The concept of graduation from protective status becomes a motivation for the highest forms of human development. Just as children eventually grow up and leave home to make their own contributions to the world, perhaps our species is being prepared for eventual graduation from cosmic protection into fuller participation in whatever community of conscious beings exists among the stars. This graduation would presumably require not just technological advancement, but spiritual and ethical development as well. We would need to demonstrate that we could be trusted with the knowledge and capabilities that come with galactic citizenship. Our current struggles with nuclear weapons, environmental destruction, and social inequality might be seen as developmental challenges that we need to resolve before we can safely interact with more advanced civilizations. The timescale for such development might be far longer than human civilization has yet existed. If cosmic protection operates on geological or astronomical timescales, then the few thousand years of recorded human history might represent just the earliest stages of our development as a conscious species. We might have millions or tens of millions of years of continued growth ahead of us before we reach the level of maturity necessary for graduation from protected status. This vast temporal perspective transforms our current global challenges from immediate crises into developmental opportunities. Climate change, social inequality, political conflict, and technological disruption become not threats to human survival, but tests of our ability to develop the wisdom necessary for planetary stewardship. Our success or failure in meeting these challenges becomes evidence of our readiness for greater cosmic responsibility. The possibility that we are being observed and evaluated as part of our protective development adds a dimension of cosmic accountability to human choices. Every decision we make as individuals and as a species, becomes not just a matter of immediate consequences, but a contribution to the cosmic record of human development. This accountability might motivate higher levels of ethical behavior and long-term thinking than purely secular or materialistic worldviews can provide. The idea of cosmic evaluation also raises questions about what criteria might be used to assess human development. Presumably, purely technological advancement would not be sufficient. Our weapons technology has advanced far faster than our wisdom in using it, and our industrial capacity has grown much more quickly than our understanding of sustainable living. The evaluation criteria would likely include measures of social harmony, environmental stewardship, spiritual development, and ethical sophistication. The mystery schools and wisdom traditions that have existed throughout human history might be seen as early attempts to develop the qualities that would eventually be necessary for cosmic citizenship. The emphasis on compassion, wisdom, self-control, and service to others that characterizes these traditions might reflect an intuitive understanding of what qualities would be valued by whatever intelligence maintain our protective status. The contemplation of these vast possibilities brings us to a profound sense of gratitude for the care that may have been taken to ensure our world's continued existence and development. Whether or not Earth is literally under some form of cosmic quarantine, the sheer improbability of our planet's life-supporting conditions suggests that we are the beneficiaries of extraordinary cosmic good fortune. The precise balance of factors that allows complex life to exist here represents a confluence of circumstances so unlikely that it might indeed reflect intentional design and protection. This gratitude naturally leads to a sense of responsibility for honoring and preserving the remarkable gift we have been given. Our individual lives become opportunities to contribute to the cosmic experiment of consciousness on Earth. Every moment of awareness, every act of kindness, every creative expression becomes a way of justifying the care that has been taken to make our existence possible. The beauty of Earth itself becomes evidence of the loving attention that has been paid to creating optimal conditions for life and consciousness to flourish. The infinite diversity of landscapes, from Arctic tundra where polar bears hunt beneath the aurora, to tropical rainforests where millions of species create symphonies of life. From mountain peaks that pierce the clouds to ocean depths where bioluminescent creatures create their own starlight, provides an endless array of environments where different forms of life can explore their unique potentials. The aesthetic beauty of natural phenomena, the spiral of a nautilus shell that echoes the golden ratio, the crystalline structure of snowflakes that reveals hidden geometric principles, the iridescent colors of butterfly wings that demonstrate optical engineering beyond human capability, suggests that the forces that shaped our world care not just about survival, but about the creation of conditions where beauty and wonder can flourish. The human capacity for appreciation of this beauty becomes one of our most distinctive contributions to the cosmic experiment. Our ability to create art, music, and literature that captures and celebrates the beauty of existence might be among the most important evidences that consciousness can indeed add value to the universe. The fact that we can be moved to tears by a piece of music, inspired by a work of art, or filled with wonder by a starry sky suggests that consciousness brings something precious into existence that would not exist without it. The development of human science and technology, viewed from this perspective, becomes not an attempt to conquer or control nature, but a way of participating more consciously in the cosmic processes that maintain and develop life. Our growing understanding of physics, chemistry, biology, and ecology allows us to appreciate more fully the extraordinary complexity and elegance of the systems that support our existence. Our technological capabilities can be directed toward enhancing rather than degrading the life-supporting systems of our planet. The exploration of space, which has taken us to the moon and sent robotic ambassadors throughout the solar system and beyond, might be seen as the first tentative steps toward eventual graduation from our protective status. As we develop the capability to live and work beyond Earth's protective boundaries, we begin to appreciate more fully the remarkable shelter that our planet provides. The harsh realities of space, the deadly radiation, the extreme temperatures, the absence of air and water, make clear just how precious and carefully maintained our earthly environment truly is. The International Space Station, orbiting our planet every 90 minutes, provides a perspective on Earth that transforms the consciousness of everyone who experiences it. Astronauts consistently report that seeing Earth from space creates a profound shift in awareness. The thin blue line of our atmosphere becomes visible as the fragile boundary that protects all life. Political boundaries disappear, and the unity and beauty of our world becomes undeniable. This overview effect might be preparing human consciousness for the perspective shifts that would be necessary for galactic citizenship. The search for life elsewhere in the solar system and beyond becomes not just a scientific quest, but a way of understanding our place in the cosmic community of conscious beings. The discovery of even microbial life on Mars or Europa would confirm that life is not unique to Earth, while the absence of such life would underscore the special nature of our world's life-supporting conditions. Either discovery would contribute to our understanding of how consciousness and life fit into the larger patterns of cosmic development. The development of artificial intelligence and machine consciousness raises fascinating questions about the nature of the cosmic protection that may surround our world. If we succeed in creating truly conscious machines, would they be included in whatever protective protocols exist around Earth? Would their development represent a new phase in the cosmic experiment of consciousness? Or would it require modifications to the protective systems that have nurtured biological consciousness for so long? These questions about artificial consciousness also raise deeper issues about the nature of consciousness itself. If consciousness can arise in silicon-based systems as well as carbon-based biology, this might suggest that consciousness is a more fundamental feature of the universe than we have previously understood. The protective care that may have been lavished on Earth might reflect not just concern for biological life, but recognition of consciousness as a precious cosmic resource that deserves protection and nurture wherever it arises. The possibility that consciousness itself is the most valuable product of cosmic evolution transforms our understanding of human purpose and responsibility. If the universe has spent billions of years creating the conditions necessary for awareness to emerge and develop, then every moment of conscious experience becomes infinitely precious. Our thoughts, feelings, perceptions, and insights become contributions to the cosmic treasury of consciousness, evidence that the vast expenditure of time and energy required to create and maintain conscious beings has been worthwhile. This perspective makes every human life infinitely valuable, not because of what we might accomplish or produce, but because of our very capacity for conscious experience. The child gazing in wonder at their first rainbow, the artist captured by creative inspiration, the lover overwhelmed by the beauty of their beloved, the mystic dissolved in cosmic consciousness, all become participants in the universe's ongoing exploration of its own potential for awareness and understanding. The dreams and aspirations that arise within human consciousness might be seen as the universe's way of exploring possible futures for conscious development. Our individual and collective dreams of peace, beauty, harmony, and wisdom become not just personal hopes, but cosmic intentions seeking manifestation through conscious choice and action. The utopian visions that have inspired human civilization throughout history might be glimpses of the possibilities that cosmic protection is designed to help us eventually achieve. The suffering and challenges that characterize much of human experience need not be seen as evidence against cosmic care and protection. Just as a garden requires pruning and cultivation to reach its full potential, the development of consciousness might require experiences of limitation and difficulty to foster growth and development. The challenges we face as individuals and as a species might be precisely calibrated to promote the kinds of learning and development that will eventually qualify us for greater cosmic responsibility. The meaning of individual human lives becomes transformed when viewed within this cosmic context. Every person becomes a unique experiment in consciousness, exploring different possibilities for how awareness can manifest and develop. The diversity of human personalities, talents, and perspectives becomes not a source of conflict, but a celebration of consciousness's infinite potential for variation and creativity. The relationships we form with each other become opportunities for consciousness to explore its social and communal dimensions. Love, friendship, family bonds, and community connections become ways that individual consciousness learns to transcend its apparent isolation and participate in larger patterns of awareness and care. The development of empathy, compassion, and wisdom through relationship becomes part of the cosmic curriculum that prepares consciousness for eventual participation in galactic community. The death that eventually comes to every individual consciousness need not be seen as failure or loss, but as graduation to whatever larger patterns of existence await beyond our current understanding. If consciousness is indeed a cosmic treasure that deserves protection and nurture, it seems unlikely that the universe would invest so much in its development only to allow it to simply disappear at biological death. The possibility that individual consciousness continues in some form beyond physical death becomes not just a religious hope, but a cosmic necessity for the cosmic investment in consciousness development to make sense. Near-death experiences, reported across cultures and throughout history, might provide glimpses of the larger cosmic context within which individual consciousness operates. The consistent reports of moving through tunnels of light, encountering beings of wisdom and compassion, experiencing life reviews that emphasize the importance of love and learning, and returning with expanded awareness of cosmic purpose. All might be previews of the graduated existence that awaits consciousness beyond its planetary development phase. The phenomenon of reincarnation, reported in many spiritual traditions, might reflect the recycling of consciousness through multiple lifetimes of learning and development within the protected environment of Earth. Each lifetime might represent another opportunity for consciousness to explore different aspects of existence and develop different qualities, gradually preparing for eventual graduation beyond the need for physical incarnation. As our journey through these peaceful possibilities draws toward its gentle conclusion, we find ourselves once again gazing up at the star-filled sky with new eyes and expanded hearts. Whether or not our Earth truly exists within a cosmic quarantine, the very contemplation of such protection fills us with a profound sense of belonging and purpose within the vast tapestry of existence. The night wind that brushes across our faces carries with it the essence of distant galaxies and cosmic processes that stretch across billions of years. In this moment of quiet contemplation, we can feel ourselves connected to patterns of meaning and purpose that extend far beyond our individual lives, yet include and honor every moment of our personal experience. We are simultaneously infinitely small within the cosmic vastness and infinitely precious as conscious participants in the universe's ongoing exploration of its own potential. Our planet continues its eternal dance through space, cradled in gravitational fields and electromagnetic boundaries that have held us safe for geological ages. Whether these protective systems are natural phenomena or the result of conscious design and maintenance, they represent a level of care and precision that fills us with wonder and gratitude. The simple fact that we exist at all in a universe where the conditions for consciousness are so rare and special, becomes a source of profound amazement. The air we breathe, warmed by our protective atmosphere and supplied by the green plants that have learned to capture sunlight and transform it into life-supporting chemistry, connects us to the vast web of relationships that makes our existence possible. The water that flows through our bodies and across our landscape carries minerals and nutrients that have traveled through cosmic space and geological time to reach us. We are quite literally made of stardust, animated by cosmic energies, sustained by planetary systems of magnificent complexity and beauty. The dreams that visit us in sleep, the thoughts that arise in our waking consciousness, the emotions that flow through our hearts, and the aspirations that call us toward greater wisdom and compassion. All of these might be seen as contributions to a cosmic conversation about the nature and potential of awareness itself. Every moment of genuine insight, every experience of beauty or love, every choice made from wisdom rather than fear becomes a gift to the universe. Evidence that consciousness can indeed create value and meaning in existence. Perhaps the greatest gift of this perspective is not the answers it provides about our cosmic situation, but the sense of wonder and purpose it awakens within us. Whether we are truly isolated within protective boundaries or simply alone in an indifferent universe, we have been given the extraordinary opportunity to experience consciousness, to create beauty, to love and be loved, to learn and grow and wonder about our place in the vast mystery of existence. The recognition that we might be specially protected and cared for by cosmic forces beyond our understanding does not diminish our responsibility for the choices we make and the lives we lead. Instead, it amplifies that responsibility, transforming every decision into an opportunity to honor the care that has been taken to make our existence possible. Our individual lives become chances to prove worthy of whatever protection and nurture we may have received. The silence of the cosmos, which has sometimes been interpreted as evidence of our cosmic loneliness, can now be heard as the sound of boundaries being lovingly maintained, of protection being carefully provided, of space being preserved for our continued development as conscious beings. The apparent absence of obvious extraterrestrial contact becomes not a source of disappointment, but evidence of the wisdom and patience of whatever forces may be guiding our cosmic development. The future that stretches ahead of us, whether measured in decades or millennia, becomes not a source of anxiety about human survival, but an invitation to continued growth and development. If we are indeed being prepared for eventual graduation from protected status, then every challenge we face becomes an opportunity to develop the qualities that will eventually qualify us for greater cosmic citizenship. Our individual and collective choices become votes in a cosmic election where the only question is whether consciousness can indeed prove worthy of the investment that has been made in its development. The environmental healing that our planet needs becomes not just a matter of human survival, but a way of honoring the sacred trust that may have been placed in us as conscious caretakers of a precious cosmic experiment. The restoration of damaged ecosystems, the protection of endangered species, the development of sustainable technologies, all become acts of cosmic service, ways of proving ourselves worthy of the protection we may have received. The social harmony that we aspire to create becomes not just a human ideal, but a demonstration of our readiness for peaceful interaction with whatever other conscious beings may exist in the broader galactic community. The resolution of conflicts through understanding rather than violence, the creation of social systems based on justice and compassion, the development of global cooperation in addressing planetary challenges, all become evidence of our readiness for graduated status. The spiritual development that draws some of us toward deeper understanding and compassion becomes not just personal growth, but preparation for roles we can barely imagine in cosmic communities, where consciousness has learned to express its highest potentials. The cultivation of wisdom, the practice of meditation, the development of unconditional love, all become qualifications for cosmic citizenship. The scientific knowledge we continue to develop becomes not just practical information, but growing appreciation for the magnificent intelligence and care that has been invested in creating and maintaining the conditions for our existence. Every new discovery about the complexity and elegance of natural systems becomes evidence of the extraordinary investment that has been made in our world's development. The art we create, the music we compose, the stories we tell, and the beauty we bring into existence become offerings to the cosmic forces that have made our existence possible. These creative expressions become evidence that consciousness can indeed add value to the universe, that the long investment in creating and protecting awareness-capable beings has been worthwhile. And so, as the stars wheel overhead in their ancient patterns, following orbital paths that have been maintained with precision for billions of years, we rest in the knowledge that we are exactly where we belong. Whether we are isolated by cosmic accident or protected by cosmic design, we find ourselves in the remarkable position of being conscious beings in a universe that has somehow arranged for consciousness to exist and flourish. The universe holds us gently, like a cosmic parent humming a lullaby to beloved children. In the rhythm of our breathing, in the beating of our hearts, in the quiet flow of thoughts through our minds, we participate in patterns of existence that connect us to the deepest sources of cosmic creativity and care. We are simultaneously temporary manifestations of consciousness and eternal participants in its ongoing cosmic adventure. Sleep now, knowing that you are protected by forces of magnificent intelligence and compassion, whether natural or designed, whether understood or mysterious. Rest in the certainty that your existence is precious beyond measure, that your consciousness is a cosmic gift, and that your life is part of a story too vast and beautiful for any single mind to comprehend. Let the gentle rotation of our world carry you into peaceful dreams, where the boundaries between self and cosmos dissolve, and where you can rest in the infinite care that has brought you into existence and sustains you still. You are cherished, you are protected, and you are home in the vast, loving embrace of whatever cosmic intelligence maintains the sanctuary we call Earth. The morning will come again, as it has for billions of years, bringing new opportunities to participate consciously in the cosmic experiment of awareness. The sun will rise over the protective curve of our atmosphere, warming the air that sustains us, illuminating the landscape that nurtures us, continuing the ancient dance of energy and matter that creates the conditions for consciousness to flourish. But for now, rest deeply in the knowledge that you are exactly where you need to be. Part of a story that began with the first stirring of consciousness in the primordial cosmos, and will continue as long as the universe itself endures. Your dreams tonight might carry you to the edges of our protective boundary, where you can sense the vast love that maintains our cosmic sanctuary, or deep into the heart of being, where you can rest in the eternal source from which all consciousness springs. Sweet dreams, cosmic traveler. Sweet dreams, precious consciousness. Sweet dreams, beloved child of the infinite cosmos. You are safe, you are treasured, and you are exactly where the universe needs you to be. Dreaming the dreams that help create tomorrow's possibilities for all conscious beings everywhere.